Hi guys, welcome to this quick tutorial on P, how to use it, why to use it, when to use it. Okay, first off, what is P? Well, really it's point, evidence, explain, but P's a handy way to remember these three skills that you're going to need within your writing. It's referring to when you make a point, when you support your point with some evidence, so usually a quote, and then you go on to explain how your evidence proves the first point that you made. Okay, why is it important? Well, as you can see from the list on the screen, it just helps you to write in more depth, organising your ideas, backing up things that you think. And really it helps you to explain why you feel the way you feel. Now in English, this is a crucial skill. In order to get a grade C, basically, you need to be able to P in your reading assessments. These are the Unit 3A assessments. So this is things like a controlled assessment on Mice and Men or Shakespeare. Now, what's tricky is actually making the link between the three. Lots of people can make a point and find a quote. The tough bit, really, is linking your explanation to the first two. So how does your explanation actually add a bit more detail and weight to the original point you've made? And the way I wanted to sort of show you or exemplify this is in three examples of a response to a controlled assessment task on Of Mice and Men. It's about the character of Curly's wife. Just have a look at this D grade response. Okay, so this student is able to make points, such as Curly's wife's always trying to get attention on the ranch. Now, they can bring almost evidence in because they're referring to the text, but it's not evidence because they're not quoting it, they're just what we call paraphrasing it, putting details in, but not explicit evidence to prove that point. There's opinions here about Curly's wife and reflecting on her as a character. But there is no link between the point and this kind of developed explanation about her. So what this student needed to have done was to find a quote from the book and then explain what that quote said about her. How it proved that she's always trying to get attention from everyone on the ranch. Now look here at the difference with this C grade response. Same opening point. Curly's wife's always trying to get attention from everyone on the ranch. From the very first description of her, we know that she wants the men to look at her. And there we have it, the key, the evidence. She leaned so that her body was thrown forward. This shows us that whenever there are men about, she tries to attract men, get them to pay her attention. I think this shows us she's needy. She's constantly looking for people to be interested in her. Now, this is a fantastic little phrase to use. This shows us, and again down here used, I think this shows us. That's showing whoever's assessing your work that you're making the link between your evidence and your first point. Fantastic thing to use. Okay, A-star example here. Now, A-star, it's still doing the same thing. It's still point, evidence, explain. The difference is you're more analytical and you're evaluating, which means that you're weighing up how effective something is or how important it is. Think about your evaluations in science. You kind of comment on how well something's gone, an experiment's gone, for example. Similar sort of skill here in English. So it's highly significant. See how evaluative that is? It's weighing up that it's important. That the very first description of Curly's wife is of her appearance, full rouged lips, etc. Curly's wife is described as being stereotypically tarty, an insult which Candy uses to describe her earlier in chapter 2. So this student has managed to use some really effective evidence and actually make links to other similar evidence elsewhere in the novel. As readers, we're presented with an artificial and provocative character, clearly aims for attention. And you can see that all of this rest of the response on the screen is actually just an extended, developed explanation It goes into a huge amount of depth about Curly's wife, reflecting on this idea that she's attention seeking, and also focusing heavily on the writer's purpose. That's a great sort of technique to include. Why you think a writer's done something. I think Steinbeck introduced her in this way so we would dislike her aggressive attention seeking. So why has a writer included something? Really important skill. Okay, so not just sort of focusing on English, how can you transfer P into other subjects? Because you'll actually find that you use it, or you should be using it, in pretty much every subject you study. Have a look at these examples from health and social care and music. So this student's writing, I think the baby boy is at risk of abuse. Point. His mother is on drugs and his father drinks much more than the recommended limit. That's evidence. I feel this child may not be safe in the care of his parents. An explanation. So this student explains that the baby boy is at risk because of the evidence they've used. In music, expressionism doesn't sound very nice. Point. Because it has no key or time signature. Evidence. This makes all the pieces sound a mess because they have no structure or guidelines. Explaining that because of the evidence, the point is proved. Hopefully you can start to see patterns now. We've got one here for PE and also one for science. I think we played very well today. Point. The way Jay smashed the volleyball over the net twice in a row, giving us the advantage. Evidence. This is the evidence that they played well. I think we won because Jay had been practicing a lot. So, again, they explain. Science. My science experiment went horribly wrong today. I put too much magnesium on the flame and it sat on fire. I think I should put less on next time, as Mr. Flynn then told me off. So you can see, hopefully quite clearly, that this student, when they're talking about the science experiment, uses the point evidence explain structure quite clearly. So really what we're looking for you to do is see, can you apply this in English and your other subjects? Just a sort of a daft one here for RE, and we have a teacher here asking this whiz kid student what they think about euthanasia, moral topic, and just highlighted there in the different colours is evidence of the point, evidence and explain. Okay then, what you need to be trying to do is to use point, evidence, explain, particularly within your English work, but also thinking about how you can roll that out into your other subjects. Best of luck.